got a question here about fatigue. Why do vegans feel so tired all the time? That's the question. I would say it wouldn't be vegans. It would be most people around the world in general. All right, a bit about me, my qualifications. I've been a vegan for 19 years, since April 2001. Now in that time I've learned a lot of things about human physiology. I've read so much medical literature, coached thousands of people, traveled the world with my bicycle, tested out hormones and drugs, done so many blood tests, all of which I've done videos about, full transparency, and put my blood tests up online for everyone to critique. Now I've talked with some of the best sports doctors in the world. What does a sports doctor mean? Someone who deals with high-level pharmaceutical assisted athletes. I've talked with many high-level athletes as well, world-class famous names, which I don't name drop because a lot of their conversations is in private, and they've got sponsors and stuff like that, so I respect that, and they respect that I understand that, and so the conversations continue, so we don't drop names on that aspect, and I get it, it is so funny when it's, but I don't know where to stay, but I could talk for hours on this topic. The average person, I lose the average person as soon as I wear a funny hat or do a video in my bedroom. Just as soon as you do real content, you lose a lot of people who are used to fake, shiny, silver tongue Americans, Australians, Brits, or whatever. They're used to the sales hype. And when you give them truth and reality with no jump cuts and no fancy lighting, just raw, they're like, they don't know how to identify the truth. It's like they walk through a market that's had durian in it, and they've never seen the durian before, and then one day they learn about durian, and then all of a sudden they see it and go, wow, how long have you had durian for? To the Chinese lady who runs the store, and she's like, I've had it for the last 20 years here. Well, I've never seen it before. It's just, and I'm the same. I remember people telling me the truth back in the day, and I'd be like, I don't know how to process this. This is the first time I've ever heard this. My ego doesn't like it. My self-identity doesn't like it. So it just comes down to giving people the truth that's going to help you. All right? So you might get lost in how this is just raw, real. What's he wearing these funny hats? I like to troll a little bit, have a bit of fun. Life's about having fun, man. If you're not having fun, you're missing out. You could be dead today, you could be dead tomorrow. Why take things so seriously, right? Be serious about doing your best. Be serious about getting the best information, heading in the right direction. But don't be serious about judging yourself and looking all, people just overanalyze themselves, don't they? They never really have a quality life. They take things super personal. They jump cut through life versus just raw. We hide behind scripts and jump cuts and fancy stuff. There's a time and place for that in Hollywood. But in terms of real life, man, that leads you to depression. Let's talk about the question, Durian Rider. We're 3 minutes in. Why are vegans so fatigued? It's a bit of a clickbait title. But it isn't clickbait as well, I would say these days a lot of vegans are very tired. I see it a lot. You see there's a girl recently called Lonnie Jane. And again, no hate, just sharing comments and criticisms here. I met her a few years ago, and I was like, wow, you look nothing like, your photos on Instagram. Good or bad, just is what it is. Like Freely was there, she's like, that's Lonnie Jane. And I was like, no way. I'm like, wow, she's a master at the angles. And she came up and had a bit of chat, and I was just like, wow, people don't look like how they look like, on Instagram. And that's just marketing. It's fine. But anyway, so she, Lonnie quit veganism a few years ago. A few years ago, she stopped being a vegan. We've got mutual friends in the Gold Coast. And that's personal choice. But, why do people do this? And this isn't me going, this person's not vegan anymore. It's not that at all. It's just, I like to look at a vegan crash investigations unit. We've got someone who's crashed, and I'm like, instead of just judging him, going, blah, 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 we're like, okay, so what did you do the moments before you crashed? Oh, wow, you thought sugar was really bad for you. Oh, wow, you limited your fruit quantity. Oh, wow, you limited your starch quantity. Oh, yeah, okay, got it. Oh, you were losing caffeine, or maybe you took a prescription medication like Ritalin or Adderall or dextroamphetamine and stuff like that. That it's not a street drug, and you thought, oh, well, this is safe because it's pharmaceutical, and you just took way too much and too long and no breaks, and you went, or you had stresses with your kids or your partner or your girlfriend or your boyfriend or what, things just happen, and then it cracks you down. Then you just blame veganism. So I like to look at these things from a holistic approach, objective approach. What does objective mean? Objective is this container is made from plastic. Right? Subjective, vague, is this is some sort of container made from something, some sort of hard material, soft, flexy material. Objective, this is plastic, thermoplastic, what are you going to call it? Subjective is like, just got a container. Subjective is, I was vegan. Objective is like, I was vegan, I was eating 600 grams of carbs a day from fruits, sugars, added sugars, and starches. That's objective. But so when we get objective and look at these people's diets, we go, oh wow, you were deficient in sucrose. You were deficient in sucrose. And people, when you say that, people just like, oh, turn off, this guy's crazy, whatever. They don't understand that sucrose is the most important nutrient for humans, for hawk moths, for hummingbirds, for chimpanzees, for bonobo chimps as well. Sucrose is the most important nutrient for all of us. So, it's like having water when you're talking. Like, you just need water. I'm not dehydrated, but, my mouth, you talk a lot, you need more water to moisturize it. My urine's clear. I'm hydrated blood volume-wise, but your mouth can dry out. So it's like, people don't understand these little things. And they just they go off the proverbial cliff and blame stuff that doesn't even have anything to do with it, So that's why I'm so successful at what I do, because I like to look at the details and understand the simple things is what really makes or breaks the bank. And so if you've got someone like Lonnie Jane who, is feeling carbohydrate and having these small bowls of fruit and having, a watermelon with a spoon in it, looks great. If I show your rack, put watermelon there, it's like, boom, Daily Mail clickbait material, and it just launches you right up, and that's fantastic. I was on the instigator of this sort of style photos. They work. They will always work. But if your meal is just watermelon, that's fantastic from a vitamin C perspective, but it's very deficient in sugars. You won't, if you're a mother and you have no watermelon meal, that's a great snack. It's not a meal, Hopefully later in the day, lunchtime or brunch, you get enough sucrose calories in. Otherwise, you're going to be flailing, you're moody, you're going to be fatigued. Real fatigue. What is real fatigue? Real fatigue is, for me, real fatigue is if someone's favorite Hollywood actor or actress came to town and said, hey, I need a tour guide for the day. Can you just show me around town? Can you just drive me around town? Actually, I've got to get fit for this. I've got to ride a bike around town. Can we just ride bikes around town and show me just show me the set? And you're like, oh my God, George Clooney's coming in there, Natasha is coming into town, like whoever's coming to town, and you're just like, but you go, oh, I'm just too tired, I can't get out of bed. That's fatigue. That's fatigue. Right? That's fatigue. That's real fatigue. Being bored with life, that's like boredom fatigue. There's a big difference. For me, fatigue is I can't do what I normally could do. Let's say I can go run a. Let's not use running example because running's based on your fitness of your legs, conditioning. Let's use cycling. All right, cycling, I can jump on my bike any day of the year and go and ride 200 Ks with no stims. Any day of the year. Let's turn it up. I could ride 400 Ks, barring no injuries. I could ride 400K any day of the year. Now, if I couldn't do that 400K any day of the year, for like, let's put some money on it, like 10 grand, if I physically couldn't do it, then I know I'm really fatigued, I'm really fatigued. So if you can't do what you normally could do, that's genuine fatigue, right? It's not like psychological, like I'm bored, like, yeah, it's not important to me anymore, like I don't care about that anymore. That's normal adulthood in life, it's like people stand in line for an iPhone 6. Back in 2014, they sleep there for 2 days. Now iPhone 6 is worth $100. You think anyone's going to sleep? That's not fatigue. That's just like the perceived value of a good is down. So if your perceived value of a relationship or your job or whatever is down, you experience fatigue from that. So there's a big difference between real fatigue, physiological fatigue in the cell at a cellular level versus emotional fatigue. I'm just over this. This is boring. Like, I'm not that interested in this anymore. So there's a big difference there. And also cellular fatigue can also make you not care about things you normally should be caring about, like your family, your relationships, your health, your fitness, and things like that. Because then all of a sudden your cells are going, well, we don't have energy, we don't have enough carbohydrate, enough sucrose for anything really. So let's just drop it right back and do nothing. Do them very, very minimal. So that's why sucrose is the most important thing. Like, okay, we had I'm going to shut this door because we had a nude Natasha walk past accidentally, and that's not going to be appropriate. So sucrose in nature, you would get so much fruit. Like, it would be insane, the amount of fruit in nature. Not nature today, but nature, if humans were frugivores by design, we would have had the sweetest fruit, would have been like hybridized by nature, but meaning the sweetest mangoes get eaten, the seeds get spread and planted, and we'd just have these orchards all around the world. Just as we have pollinating bats spread their sweet nectars, flowers all around their area, because the fruit that has the most nectar, the most sucrose, the bats and the bees and all the animals and birds come to that, and it just spreads and proliferates around. So when you take let's say you get rid of a hummingbird or a bat, then all of a sudden those pollinated plants that need those pollinators die. They just see you later, boom, boom, bye-bye. So then you walk into a field and go, oh, there's no sugar here. But there should have been, but the animals got taken away. So or they changed their diet. So if humans change their diet from fruits and starches and stuff like that to, growing cane, which is fine, but then, we're not eating a natural diet by skipping fruit. We're having a burger with ketchup for the sweetness, And so then you have these people having like massive amounts of fat every week and wondering why they're just getting obese and hormone issues and depression and performance, all these things going on. Too much fat in the diet. And then you put these people on a low-fat diet. Stay on your caffeine. Like, if you're on caffeine, your caffeine drugs, your Ritalins, your Adderall, stay on those prescription recreational drugs. Like, don't just go off everything and go, I feel tired. That's your body saying, yeah, you need to catch up on some cellular rest. Right? So if you're doing your drugs, stay on the drugs. Don't change your diet and your drug routine. Then you change it too much. Just stay on your drugs, and you'll find they'll work better, or you need less, and eat your high carb Diuretic protocol, right? So, and then eventually over time, wean yourself off the drugs, so you don't just crash in a heap. Which you can do if you're emotionally ready for that. Your lifestyle suits that. Maybe you don't have a job that you're bored as heck on the office with or whatever. So most people need coffee to make the calls they don't want to make. It's like, and it's just easy. Drink a coffee or take your pill, and you can just talk on the phone hours about boring crap. For most people, they can do that. I can't do all that either. Natty or enhanced. I just can't. That's just me and ADD. So yeah, that's fatigue is very, very vague. It's a vague description. Now you could be in let's use professional athletes as an example. All the best training, the best pharmaceutical support, the best products, everything, the desire to win for fame, money, glory. And if they live in a marathon, and then they start to get cellular fatigue by not enough water or sugars, and they go from first place to second place or 10th place. They want to win. The desire to win is there. They're running for their life, literally. But their cellular fatigue means the performance drops, and then someone else comes past for the win, for the cash. So that's fatigue. That's true fatigue right there. And what will happen from that? Sugar and water. They will lead in the race for the first 35K, and the sugar runs out, and it's like, bye-bye. That's fatigue as well. That's genuine fatigue. Super high stimulus environment, super high blood volume, all the pharmaceutical assistance, everything dialed up, but they simply ran out of sucrose. They ran out of sucrose, or got low in sucrose levels in their blood. It's glucose, glycogen. Bye-bye. Performance. Bye-bye. Say goodbye, performance. Bye-bye, performance. Bye-bye, mood. And that's the deal. Natasha's outside mood. That's the deal. Have we seen a mirror? No, that's okay. Blocking the mirror. I'm going to see your age restrict. So yeah, incidental nudity happens in this carb household. If you want to minimize fatigue, go to bed 8, 9 p.m. That's just like game changer. Cellular fatigue, I should say. If you want to minimize cellular fatigue, go to bed 8, 9 p.m. I can't do that. It doesn't suit my lifestyle. I'm just saying if you want the best, all right? I give people the best advice. Whether what do you do with it, or tweak it, or get about 10 a.m. or 10 p.m. or whatever, just your call. I'm saying 8, 9 p.m. That's what we're designed for. Go to bed with the sun. Equatorial areas we're designed for living in. Humid area, it's best for the skin. We're not designed to live in Minnesota. We're not designed to live in Greenland. We're not designed to live in Tasmania. You know, we live in these places, but don't thrive in them compared to if we lived in more tropical, subtropical climates. I mean, look, my skin, whether I'm in Thailand or even far north Queensland, or is much better than here in Adelaide, South Australia. I love Adelaide, but so I'm just saying that in these harsh winters people have, it's not healthy. It's not healthy at all. I mean, you can survive there, but you won't thrive there. You just won't thrive there. You won't. Seasonal affective disorder is real for many, many people. And so then nutrition. Make sure you're getting at least 10 grams of carbs per day per body weight per kilo. So if you're 50 kilos, that's half a kilo of carbs per day. And if you're 100 kilos, 220 pounds, that's about a kilo or 2.2 pounds of carbs per day from fruit. Very important to get your fruit for fruit factor. The X factor in fruit is very important. And then you want to have your sucrose, table sugar, white table sugar, pour it in there on your smoothies, on chopped fruit. Ramp up the glycogen retention. The glycogen petitioning is making you want to feel better. And then you want to have your starches for that. Starch X factor. There's X factor in rice. I don't know what it is. White rice. Drink water beforehand, so you're really hydrated. White rice has an X factor at night time. It increases the sexual activity, the productivity next day of men and women. I find women almost immediately have a sexual drive, testosterone increase in white rice. Some men as well sometimes, but women definitely. There's something about white rice that gets women frisky. There's something that's an X factor. I don't know what it is. I just observed it in my girlfriends and girls over the years. It's observational there, and you're not going to get studies like this. Who's going to study that? Like, who's going to fund that? Like, it's too politically incorrect. So yeah, that's the fruit, the sugar, the starch is so important for every day to minimize fatigue. Water as well. Let's go water. Drink half a litre of water in the morning. Get up, boom, a couple of cups of water, half a litre to a litre, and then you're gonna notice you become a morning person all of a sudden. You don't need your coffee to wake up. You're like, when I wake up, I'm like, all right, where's my water? That's how I wake up. I don't wake up to coffee, I wake up to water. I don't wake up to Ritalin or Adderall or whatever, I wake up to water. And then have a piece of fruit after that, like an orange or something, just to get some sugars in the brain there. Kickstart the metabolism, never ever go fasted. All you're doing is you're slowing your thyroid down. And then we've got hormonal fatigue, which we'll get to. So get your carbs in, get your sleep, get your water, drink water, so you're peeing clear every 2 or 3 hours. If your urine is yellow or straw or scanty, little trickle, have another half a litre of water to a litre. You don't need to drink more than 1 litre per hour, okay? There's no real need for that in terms of, ability to process the water or something. More than 1 litre per hour, I would say, in 99% of cases would be excessive, excessive. You have a risk there of just sort of like diluting your electrolytes a bit too much, So keep it under 1 litre an hour, you're good to go. You have such incredible heat tolerance as well. Under 1 litre an hour, your heat tolerance is just like, man. That's how I rode across Australia in 2006. It was one of the hottest summers ever. I rode across Australia from Byron Bay to Adelaide, December 2006, on a mountain bike, solo, unsupported. And some days were like 43 degrees all day. I was riding for the whole middle of the day. It was insane. I had like full on long sleeve shirt, just full sun protection, just water. And people, I remember pulling up to a rest stop a few times, and there was some grey nomads there, and some younger people. And I remember one time this couple of grey nomads saw me pull in, and just looked at each other, and like, this guy's crazy. We don't want to be in the middle of the desert with this dude on a bicycle on a foot. Like, where's he come from? This is weird. And they literally looked at each other, packed up all their stuff in a hurry, and drove off. And I was just like, hey. And I was just like, what? And they were scared of me. It was that hot. And then the other people would be like, dude, look, where have you ridden from? Like, what? Some other people were amazed. They're like, dude, you're crazy. This is dangerous. It's so hot. So some people were scared of me because like, this can't be real. This is whatever's going on. We can't process this. Let's, fear of the unknown. Get out of here. I probably do look like a crazy person as well out there. And then the other people go, wow, you're crazy, dude. This is epic. How do you stay hydrated on such a hot day? Just drinking the water. I was carrying like, on a hot day like that, you couldn't even really carry much work because it gets so hot so quick. So I'm just like, whenever I could drink, just drink, like neck out, liter and a half bottle of water, and then and go. And that day I was eating, that was all fruits, sultanas, and I was smashing the water, and it felt amazing to be peeing every 2 or 3 hours on such a hot day and just being the boss of the day with no caffeine, no drugs, nothing in my system, full natty bra, and just crushing it, man, crushing it. It was, wow. Talk about detoxification, talk about euphoria. That's crazy, man. Fond memories versus being dehydrated and hating life and scarring your kidneys, like the people do dry fasts and damage their kidneys, and I've had people die from that. Never ever don't drink water. That's just stupid, unless you may be doing some sort of surgery the day before. Yeah, I get it, but in normal 99% situations, never not drink enough water. All right, you shouldn't go hours without water. Even at bedtime, I have a plastic bottle, so it's not glass. Roll over and slash yourself to death. Plastic bottle and sip, wake up, sip of water. My mouth's always moist. It's good for kissing. It's good for sexual activities. It's good for just feeling better. Good for digestion. Okay. Flat stomach. Drink a liter of water before you go to bed. Boom. Go pee. Flush out excess fluid retention. Yeah, aldosterone levels get enhanced with sufficient water. Enough water. Okay, so simple as that. What was that notification? Wow, crazy. There you go. So that's how to, take care of fatigue. People generally just go and have more drugs, more stimulants, and just dig themselves in a bigger hole. Like Natasha was tired yesterday, so she just laid down more. And in the evening, she was like full 10 out of 10 stimulants, full gas. So get the rest. Don't have more stims. I use stims occasionally, but never if I'm tired. I should do an asterisk there. I have used stims before when I'm tired, but I can probably count on in my life, in my last 20 years, 5 times. Okay, so that's the general rule I have is even 24-hour races, I have a nap. I have a nap before I take any stimulants. Just to look after yourself, like a 10-minute nap, just close your eyes, and then just look after your health, man. Like respect your body. And then if you have your stim, you'll work so much better and you'll need less. And then next day your recovery will be better. Like just, if you're tired, people, have a little nap. Have some water, have some carbohydrates, and have a little nap. Look after yourself like that. Otherwise you're damaging yourself. Have respect for your health. Otherwise, you only have one body. Imagine if you only had one phone. Imagine if people only had one phone, how they would just like protect it. So yeah, look after your health, and that's the best investment, man. Nothing else matters really. So that's fatigue. That's fatigue from someone who was so fatigued as a kid. I couldn't go and play sport. I wanted to play because I was just too tired. Not enough carbs. Not enough carbs, man. Simple as that. And not enough water. And you can't sleep properly, so your recovery's out. That's why you find that my girlfriends, when they live with me, their performance just becomes insane. It becomes insane what they can do. Now, exception would be Natasha, because she's been following my advice the last 5 years, so her performance has always been really good. But someone like, let's use examples of women who've lived with me. Let's use Freely. I remember going for a run with Freely in 2007, and I was like, we went for a run down at it's at Coogee Beach around there, and she was so slow, and I wasn't that fast either back then. I was way faster. I'm way faster now, but back then I was just like, oh, this is embarrassing running so slow. I felt like, how are you a personal trainer and you're so unfit? It wasn't because she was lazy, it's just because she had the wrong direction. And then eventually Freddie got her running time, her 5K down, like road, not on the treadmill, which is cheating. On the road, she got her 5K time multiple times under 20 minutes on a certified course, which is impressive for someone who didn't run that much and who's in mid-30s. That's impressive. Sub 20s, impressive. And and on the bike as well, just like doing really fast times like climbs for someone who's never ever raced on a bike in terms of traditional racing. So he's who wasn't a cardio athlete beforehand. Like Freely wasn't a cardio athlete. She was just like a little gym rat, doing keto diet and just destroying her health, taking pills and stuff. Which she's transparent about back in the day. This is like back in pre-2007. So, and then Tori. I remember Tori the first time. Went up Mount Lofty with her hiking, and she was just like so slow. And I'm like, how can a young girl, she was like 20 at the time, I think, and had a background in fitness, like rowing and stuff. And I'm like, how can someone, go to a private school, have all these trainers, and be so unfit? Just not enough sucrose. Not enough sucrose. And I remember getting her a juice on top of Mount Lofty, because she was drinking a sugar-free Powerade, I'm pretty sure it was. And I was like, what's that? I said, you got the wrong one. She goes, no, I like this one. It's got no sugar in it. Like, how you meant to live without sucrose? And so I got a drink, mango fruit drink, and I put white sugar in there as well, extra sugar in there. And she drank that. I said, so watch this, she'll lay down even more. And she fell asleep, and we were talking about it. And then she came alive afterwards. So body fell asleep to restore and recover, nutritionally, cellularly. And then she packed up, and then her fitness was like, fuck, man, she cranked it. Within 6 months, she was like national level, Australian national level, based on the power data. We use power meters to test all these things, so very objective data there. Just cranking it, just smashing, and then some of the best times ever. She's not as fit as she was back in 2018, like her best times were back then. Now she has much more bike handling skills, doing great there. But again, you got back on the coffee wagon, and then that's your recovery. Your recovery's just bye-bye. If you're having coffee every day, it's like recovery, bye-bye. Fitness, bye-bye. You'll never ever peak, like you will when you're natty without the stims, or very rarely stims. You'll have a much better fitness level. Because you can sleep properly. You can sleep properly. If you stims every day, you can't sleep properly. So you'll never ever reach your natty status potential. So stims are fantastic in certain situations, but also will kill your fitness if you use them daily. They just will. You can't use stims daily and be your best natural self. If you're going to use stims daily, then you need to use hormones as well, because stims will crush your hormones. They'll crush your cortisols and your hormones, your testosterone especially, eventually, and or they'll spike your cortisol, which can crush your testosterone. It's just, you really got to respect stims. So Tori did really, really well. Best times on Strava there, 2018. Best times. On fitness climbs as well. Climbs that didn't involve drafting. Like drafted times, you can be faster because you can hold the wheel better and you get that advantage. But I'm talking like power. Like power hasn't gone up. Power's actually gone down despite training going up. Okay, so if your training's going up and your power's going down, you're doing too much caffeine, etc., or not enough carbohydrate. But so yeah, just real life examples like that. And I share these people. There's been other people, but they're not on social media, so it wouldn't be really fair to use them. Not everyone's on social media. Not everyone wants to be like, having fame and stuff like that. So there's thousands of people I've coached out there with some amazing stories, which I do share, but I don't share their face or whatever, because they're not on social media, or maybe they're on social media, but they're very low key profile. And they don't want any questions or haters or trolls or stalkers or whatever. Blah blah blah. But so we leave those people out. But man, like it pains me to see people doing things for their parents or their workmates or their peer group or whatever, and it's like, do what you want to do, you know what I mean? Like, but if you limit your sleep, water, sugar, your life quality suffers, man. Your life quality suffers, and for me, the most important thing is life quality. It's having that participation in my daily reality is very, very important, and that's based on sugar, man. That's based on sucrose. Like, we're hummingbirds. Not really, we're humans, but we're almost there. Humming human. Girls like it when you hum. It's hummingbirds, man. They are like the little pocket rockets. Bees as well. Bees are living on sucrose. So ants, if you have that sucrose in your life more, your life quality goes up. And so your fatigue may also go up, because now you're like questioning things. Like you're like, oh man, like this job sucks. You know, I can't do this anymore. Or you look at your partner who's like nagging and got no going nowhere in life, has got no drive, and it's just like, and you look at them, and you're like, I've got fatigue now. I'm not attracted to you as I was back in the day. You know, when I was scared to be alone. I don't have the attraction, and so then you have fatigue, you have relationship fatigue. Right? So again, this is things people don't talk about. They don't talk about. So, you know, so is it cellular fatigue, where you want to perform for your partner or you want to perform for your job because you really love it, but you can't because you don't have enough sleep, water, sugar? Or is it, you know, emotional fatigue, where you're just over this because you don't see the value in it anymore? You know, I used to walk into a bike shop 10 years ago and see an S-Works, let's say, use an example everyone knows, like a specialized S-Works tarmac. And I was like, wow, the SL3, oh, it's so light, it's amazing. And now I walk in a bike shop, and I had that bike, they were fantastic. And now I walk in a bike shop and you see like an SL7 with disc brakes and the insane price tag, and it's heavier. And you're like, oh, what? You know, that drive to have a bike like that, or that bike, is like zero, you know, other than to chop it open and show what's inside. So that's a fatigue there, you know. So it depends how you're measuring fatigue. Just like you lose the drive for something. Right? So why are you losing drive for something? Is it you don't want to lose the drive, but you just can't do anything about it because of your sleep, water, sugar, which is affecting your hormones, your cortisol, your testosterone, your thyroid. So now you can't do what you want to, you know, what you really want to do. That element, or is that you've enhanced your sleep, water, sugar, you've enhanced your hormones, now all of a sudden these things that used to mean so much to you create immense fatigue because you're like, I'm just over it, man, I can't do it anymore, you know, I can't do it anymore, this is so fake, this is not who I am. Okay, those two differences are huge, they're huge. I remember last little story, I had a friend in a pro cycling team. He went to his training camp and he was flying, he's putting out good numbers and stuff like that, and he came home and after 2 weeks his performance was going down. You know, he's like, oh, I'm just not like, just don't feel as energized as I did. And I'm like, dude, you're at a training camp with a brand new team, you know, and you had that pressure to perform, and now you're at home by yourself, you've had all this stimulation just removed from you, you know. Like, could a rock star who has to sting without miming give their best performance in a closed room or with a crowd of 50,000 people cheering? You know what I mean? Like, so the expectation of your peer group raises you up. Okay, good or bad, good or bad. And so he's like, oh, I never thought about all that. You know, this is a really experienced rider. So it's easy to you know, start to make things in our head that aren't really there. Oh, I'm tired. Like, tired from what? Cellular tired, or tired because you're just not into this anymore? Okay, so ask those questions. Dig down the rabbit hole. It's not about being analysis to paralysis, but it's like, you know, just understanding what's going on. Like, for me, the desire to race my bike, you know, with 100 other riders flying down hills, I have fatigue for that. Like, I have zero desire for that because I understand the risks and the dangers. Being in the middle of the pack, no control, someone crashes in front of you, we all going down. You know, like, I've got zero desire to do that. Don't need to do that. Don't want to do that. So for me to be in that situation, I'm like, I'm going to the side, the peloton, the back of the peloton, or the front. I mean, I want to be in the middle. You know, I want to be the meat and the sandwich getting squashed. And you know, so that's. But back in the day, I loved that, man. But then I've seen a few crashes and broken legs, and I'm like, I don't want that. I'm going to the side, back, front, whatever. Don't want to be in the middle, in the crash zone. So, you know, again, like, you got me to work in a job as an accountant, or let's say, what was a job I used to do back in the day that I really liked? Bike shop. Man, I love working in the bike shop. Loved it so much I would forget to eat sometimes because I was just so into it. You know, or I loved my bike shop job so much and the running store job so much that I wouldn't even have lunch breaks. I'd just like have snacks out the back, just get a mouthful of food, go back out there, you know. And I sold so much products, I just really enjoyed it. But now I couldn't work in a bike shop, really, because a lot of the technology I don't believe in. And it would cause conflict for other people who worked there or whatever. So I do my own stuff online. That really works well. So I'd have massive fatigue working in the bike shop because someone would come in and buy a bike and I'm like, oh man, this bike's wrong for you. But I couldn't really say that, or I could say that and they'd be like, what? And it's like, oh man, like, you know. So there's those levels of fatigue. So some people just go around this job, I'm just punching numbers for someone, for a business I'm not passionate about, for a corporation I don't like. The ethics of, oh, I hate doing this job. Stop. Collect cans. Do something different, man. Collect cans. Get on welfare, whatever. Get on OnlyFans or do something that you enjoy. Or enjoy more than what you're doing now. Otherwise, it's like, what's your life about? But again, people don't want to question it that deep. People just want to like pop a pill, buy the new phone. Hey guys, like, share, subscribe. It's what it is. But yeah, this channel here is about educating people with the stuff that will change your life if you wanted to, if you put it to practice and analyze. You know, these ex-vegans coming out, don't blame them, man. Look at how much sugar phobia is out there. Well, don't eat white rice. Don't eat white rice. You know, some girl on Instagram the other day was saying don't eat white rice. She's typing that while she's at the coffee shop waiting in line. The next shot was her, you know, waiting in line at Starbucks or whatever for a coffee. And she looked tired as heck. She's only young. It's like, and she's a vegan influencer in her little area. Like, no wonder vegans are fatigued. And then all the sugar phobia, you know. And then you look at my festival in Thailand, and you have all these people riding up mountains they've never done it in their life before, never been up a mountain, and they do it on the first day, first go. Like, that's what we're talking about. So you can do the Doing Rider protocol, get transformations, or you can stay in eating disorder worlds, yo-yoing, emotional roller coasters, blah, 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 you know. And a lot of people with eating disorders come over to the vegan. I had so many people with eating disorders come to my event, you know, in Thailand, their free event. And I get it. You know, they wanted to be slim and, you know, end that and stuff like that. And a lot of people did. A lot of people did. Some people don't, though. They don't. And they just stay with the eating disorder, and it disrupts their relationships with themselves, which carries on to other people. And it's just like, just have unrealistic expectations for themselves, trying to be ripped all year long or whatever. And they're dehydrated and undercarved and hangry and creating drama. You know, it's like, oh man. So this is, you know, I've learned a lot in the last 24 years of coaching people from all different types, you know, all around the world. And this stuff works, man. It works. You just got to put it to work, and it'll work for you. Peace. Car park food reviews. It's got some Pizza Hut over here. Natasha, show us what the deal is here. This is the Pizza Hut.
Vegan wings.
Vegan wings. Pizza Hut Australia. And Wing Street. What do you think you've what sauce is that? Peri peri?
Yeah, it's peri peri. It's a little bit spicy, but not too bad. Maybe you'll want to wipe a bit of the sauce off.
Yeah. This little bite. What's the fat content? Hot as in temperature or spice? How does it feel like fat wise, you reckon? Much fat in it?
Yeah.
Yeah, so if you've got diabetes, insulin resistance,
don't eat them.
Then this fat will be bad for that. Alright. If you don't have insulin issues, insulin resistance, then this will be okay now and then. But beware that fat causes insulin resistance, alright? Whether it's plant fat, animal fat, causes insulin resistance. So keep these. These will be only for lean people who don't have any insulin resistance issues. Otherwise, good to see you. Pizza Hut Australia.
They have a good texture, very meaty.
I'm gonna try one.
Try one.
Oh, they fall apart. They're sort of soft. I'm gonna try one of these. They're pretty good. They're spicy. Very well. It's not bad. Pretty good. Definitely good. Sauce is a bit spicy for me. Natasha likes it spicy. So I'll give them a 10 out of 10. They're very tasty. But you can see the fat residue there. The oil. Oil is fat. Fat is oil. So that oil of any kind, any fat of any kind, nut, animal, plant, it causes insulin resistance, all right? Oil coats insulin receptor site. So for us, we're active, we're not lazy. If you're sedentary, then you really want to be careful with your fat intake because it will cause insulin resistance, all right? So any fat you eat is the fat you wear, and it also covers your insulin receptor sites. Exercise helps improve insulin sensitivity. So if you are sedentary, then you want to really be stringent and disciplined on your fat intake.
You
Otherwise,
should be sedentary anyway.
Yeah, let's just say you're in hospital, you had 2 broken legs, then you don't need any fats because it's going to give you issues. Anyway, that's the deal. Thanks for watching.